When you start downloading from your higher self, you'll actually find that your will becomes more and more akin to that of the angels. And this whole question about, oh, do we have free will or not? It's actually such a distraction that it can do nothing but stop your expansion. And if we are talking about expansion here in regards to consciousness and our own feeling of free will, we have to consider the other levels. They say that angels have no free will. Sort of like they are some sort of robotic figures or some sort of androids that are mass controlled by something we call God. But in regards to the angels, I can assure you that they do have free will, actually. Their will is free. There's no such thing as no free will. All wills are free. You have the will, it's free to use, isn't it? But the reason why we perceive angels to have no free will is simply because they are connected directly to source, unlike us. Now, the reason why we believe we have free will is that we are not connected or entirely connected to source or God, whatever name you'll use. So, of course, our will appear separate to the universe or God or whoever else. We have our own individuality by virtue of having an ego, isn't it? Because it's the ego that separates everything and nothing else. So with this ego, we have this sense of identity, this sense of self. And therefore, whatever we choose to do, whatever we will, belongs to us. Fine, that's correct. But when it comes to angels and other entities in whatever dimension we're talking about, you do have to realize that they are subject to that same law as you are. The only difference is that some entities may be connected more or directly to source. So if your consciousness is connected directly to source, and all that is simply having no ego, you will appear to have no free will. Because obviously there is only one consciousness, there is only one source. And so if you have no ego and are therefore connected to your higher self, which is source, every single entity, as well as yourself, that is connected directly to source would follow your will and you would follow theirs, if that makes sense. So those who say that angels have no free will are correct, and those who say that we have free will are correct. And those who say angels have free will are correct, and those who say we don't have free will are correct. The point is there's no right or wrong here. Both of these views, or however many views, are correct. It all depends on your perception. That is the only defining thing here. And we all know that the universe has not got time for perception. So when it comes to your subjective views, doesn't wash. We need to be looking from the objective. So as I said before, if you lose your ego completely and are therefore connected to source directly, as in you are downloading, because remember, the information that you start to download from your higher self has always been there. All the files are there on the computer, just waiting for you to download them. But if you do not download them, they'll sit there waiting on the server. So when people start downloading from their higher self, they are getting the information that's always been there. This is what they all talk about when they say bringing things forth from within. And they say that you have everything, you are the one. That is correct. And this is what I'm talking about. And you'll find there are some people and some other entities or whatever. Because remember, this is all labels, so let's not get caught up in that either. All these things, oh, is there free will, is there not free will? All these things is just details which distract us from the truth. And the truth is, a will is a will. If your will is in accordance with the infinite will, the infinite consciousness, which is all of us ultimately, then it will appear to human beings with egos that you don't have free will. But of course, we all have will. It depends on what it's aligned with and who is looking at it. It's all subjective, but we all have to be objective.